Good morning, dear Thai, dear Sangha. Today is the 11th of July in the year 2025, and we are in the first day or the second day of the summer opening, and we are in Upper Hamlet. You have made it. You have arrived. Can I see a show of hands who brought children here? Yes. Especially with you, you had to go through a registration system where it is unknown whether you will make it or not. But you were selected. Unfortunately, we have many more requests for people joining Plum Village than we have space to offer and capacity to offer. And we had to say no to people. And we could say yes to you. So, at one hand, it is sad that we have to say no. On the other hand, it is also a very good sign, because it is meaning that people want to come to Plum Village. They want to practice here, especially with their children. So it is very special to bring our children here, to arrive here. So maybe we can hear a few people. Why was it important for your family to come to Plum Village at this moment in your family life? Can I see a few hands? Why is it important? Yes.
I came with my grandson and granddaughter. So as I appreciate the Dharma teaching as a precious happiness, so I want to give them the opportunity to be in touch with this, because it's an experience, and I know if you know something, then you don't forget.
Yeah. So she is sharing that she is coming here with your grandson and granddaughter, and that she really appreciates the Dharma. And she wants her grandchildren to also have a chance to experience it. Because an experience is something that really continues on. And so she wanted to offer that opportunity. Yeah. Somebody else, why did you bring your family here? Yes.
Thank you so much for hosting us. So I came here the first time in a very deep political crisis and personal crisis. So this has really helped me to heal. And then I came again with the climate retreat. So this has also been reshaping my commitment to the earth. And now I feel it's the right time to give back. So I will offer them that gift of something that has been so helpful for me and my community. And I want them to experience and to, it's a good time to plant seeds of love and compassion, so that maybe later when they are adults, they already know they can come back here.
So, our friend over there is sharing that she found Plum Village struggling with political crises and personal crises. She came in the climate retreat, and she felt so much has already been offered, and she wanted to continue offering also back. And so she really wanted to plant seeds in her children, so that hopefully those seeds will find a place, so that when her children will grow up as adults, hopefully that seed will be there for them in time when they need it. So beautiful. So she was saying that the seed of love and compassion. So when I came here in the courtyard, I walked into Pham, and Pham, he said, "Good luck, Brother Pham, and offer your compassion." And I told him, I said, "Yes, Thai, over the years, I mean, so many seeds have been planted in me. And I can trust in those seeds, that those seeds will then be able to flourish and be offered in the form of a talk." And I find it so beautiful that words that can, like that my energy of the food that I've eaten in these days, the energy of the loving kindness I've received from my brothers and my sisters and the lay friends, that all of that investment can now manifest as words, and that these words can now manifest in your ears as sound, and that somehow that can come into your consciousness and become part of you. And then maybe because of that, you will continue on as a different person. I find that an honor to see that this kind of way of living matters. And I think many of you came because you look at your life, you look at the world, and that you want to have a different way of continuing things. How can I take care of myself? How can I take care of the world? What can I continue to offer? So that my practice is not individual only. How I practice, it has a chance to continue in other people as well. So I find that very beautiful, this deepening insight. Like, I'm not practicing for myself alone. Here as parents, you're practicing not only for yourself, but also for your children. The peace and joy that you have in your home, that is the energy that you offer as an environment for your children to get nourished by. Even the little baby over there maybe will not understand my words, but maybe the energy in the room will be taken in. And that is also nourishment. So, you have arrived. We sing this song, I've arrived, I am home. We arrive in the present moment. Actually, we never leave the present moment. We only lose the capacity to enjoy the present moment, to savor the present moment. Somewhere we have this amazing brain that is capable of creating a reality that sometimes becomes more real than what is happening right in front of us. So what is real and what is true? And why do we come back to the present moment? Or another question, why do we leave the present moment? What is it in the present moment that is so interesting that it is less interesting to be with life around us and more interesting to go in our thoughts, in our feelings, in our analyzing? What is it in the present moment where we want to go back to? So, what I find when I'm in the present moment, I find like that I have a body. There's all of these things happening in my body. It's like swirling sensations in my body, like in my chest, in my belly, in my legs, in my arms. I have my breath. A breath can be so nourishing. And sometimes a breath can be not what I need. Sometimes when I come back to the present moment, I like, oh, it's not pleasant at all what I'm finding. I'm finding unpleasant feelings. I'm finding a feeling of, bleh. And when I find something unpleasant like that, it is very interesting what happens. Because very often, that is when I jump right into it. And I start to actually consume my suffering. Is that recognizable for anybody? Do you sometimes have that? You recognize suffering and you go like, okay, let's take a swim in it. Breathing in, I am aware, I am swimming in my suffering. Breathing out, I can choose. Do I want to continue swimming in this? Or can I become aware of all the other things that are also present in me right now, in this moment? For me, what can be very helpful is recognize where in my present moment experience am I not swimming in my suffering. Maybe my feet are not swimming in my suffering. So I go back to my feet, or maybe my breath. I go back to my breath. The silence in the room. The sound of a baby. It's very interesting for me, is when I choose to stay with that which is supporting, also something happens in my body. Something feels there is more space deep inside of me, and I am more free. So when we arrive in the present moment, we can see that there are things that we can pay attention to that will bring more well-being, and there are things that we bring our attention to and it's actually increasing our ill-being. And very often, the ill-being might have almost like a magnetic attraction, making it more real. The unpleasant very often is actually like an attraction where it becomes somehow more important. And it is in those moments that I can recognize, oh, do I have enough space in order to take care of it? Because if I don't have the space, I might actually be nourishing the suffering instead of embracing the suffering. So we can create that space by becoming also aware of that which in the present moment is supporting, is enjoyable enough. And so moment by moment we have this choice. Where do I place my awareness? What do I nourish in myself? And this is a real art. So, in order to help us train this, we have in our monastery the bells that help us to stop. And for me, it's very interesting to ask a question. What do we stop? And is it true that we stop everything? Because I don't stop my heartbeat, I don't stop my breath, I don't stop my mind. But I recognize maybe in that moment that there is something in me that is running. And what is running in me? There's a story from the Buddha where a criminal who had harmed many, many people came to the Buddha and he saw the Buddha walking and he said, "Buddha, stop!" And the Buddha kept walking and he became angry and he said, "Stop there!" And at one moment he kept walking. And Angulimala came up to the Buddha and walked next to him. And I said, "Stop!" And the Buddha looked at him. And he said, "I've stopped many years ago. Why are you still running?" What is running in me? Very often what is running is these feelings I'm holding in my body that I've not been able to take care of. And these feelings are left unattended and they're knocking. And I try to resolve them out there. And so what I can do is I can stop and recognize, what in me is being left alone? What am I feeling right now that is in need of my awareness? So maybe you can check in with yourself if there's something like that alive in you in this moment. And if you want to join me in a little exercise, is you can hold that feeling and express it by pressing in your hand like a fist. You just match it. Hello, feeling. Yeah, like this. You feel strong or soft like this. Just check in. Match the pressure with the feeling. And now with your other hand, try to pry it open. I notice in myself when I do that, my feeling goes like, "Hey, hell no." So just keep that feeling, holding the hand. And now become aware of what is in you and around you. What is supportive? Your breath, your body, the space that you're in. Where are you right now? Really feel, arrive in space. You can orient yourself in space. And now this hand can be below the other fist. And let it rest. And notice. It doesn't want to, but for me it doesn't want to hold as tightly anymore. It feels so much easier to not be alone. So how can I be kind like this to myself? How can I know what I need in order to take care of myself in the moment? Thank you. Does anybody like to share how it was to hold the fist like this? And the difference between prying it open and holding it in your hand? Is there somebody? Also, yeah, please.
I felt the same as you, that without any intention, my own hand was relaxing, letting go.
Yeah. So she was sharing that she felt the same thing as what I was describing. That once she came with the hand, that the tension just let go without the trying to make it change. So we have many, many ways of how we can gently come back to ourselves, to hold what is present. And one of our favorite practices of our teacher was walking meditation. He so loved his walking meditation. He would so often remind us, I am not sitting in a wheelchair. I can still walk. But even if I would be in a wheelchair, I could still enjoy the movement. But as I can still walk, I can so enjoy the walking. So we walk to so many places in our lives. And for me, the savoring of walking is one of my main practices. Because when I walk, I feel it's easier than sitting meditation. When you hold your body still, sometimes holding my body still makes my mind more agitated. And when I walk, I feel that there is more happening in my body. And so it feels there is more of a flow that can happen in me. And so what I do is I bring my awareness to my left foot, and I feel my body shift to the left. And I bring it to the right foot, and I feel my body shift to the right. Left. And it's almost like a metronome that goes from the left to the right. From the left to the right. So walking like this, I'm not walking in order to arrive somewhere else. Our practice is that the present moment is there all the time, and I can really savor the journey. I can savor the moment when I lift my right foot and place it on the ground. I can feel this contact, as if my feet is like kissing the earth. There's a meeting between me and the earth. And I can be fully present for that meeting. Really savor that step. And then If it feels enjoyable, you can as well connect your breath to the steps. So maybe in a walking meditation, we have like 1, 2, 3 breaths, 3 steps on the in-breath, and maybe 3 or 4 steps on the out-breath. And we can allow our breath to be natural and enjoyable. So we pay attention to the breath and the steps, the movement of the body, and the energy of the Sangha collectively around. It's very precious to have a whole group of people who come together to walk, to stop, who find it important enough to come back to themselves so that they can create this space for themselves and also give this space to all the people around them. It's very, very special to walk together like that. And then we have beautiful nature here around us. We have the birds that we can hear. We have the wind in the trees. There's so much nature around that we can allow ourselves to be in touch with, to nourish our being. So walking for me is an act out of freedom. I walk for the enjoyment of walking. I come back to myself for the enjoyment of coming back to myself. I follow my breath for the enjoyment of being with my breath. I sit for the enjoyment of sitting. So very often when we practice and go home and we ask, can you continue the practice after Plum Village? My answer is you continue and you're doing what you enjoy doing. You continue and you use the collective energy of Plum Village, where it will be a bit more easy to do, because everybody else is doing this as well. So you can sort of rest in the collective energy. And we use that resting in the collective energy to create the habits in order for you to do it later when you go back home. So the art now is to learn to really enjoy it, to really investigate in yourself. How can I make the practice something that I'm not forcing myself into, but something that I can enjoy? So I hope that when we walk in Plum Village, we can all adapt the style of walking meditation. So at any moment where you walk somewhere, that you can enjoy your walking. And that does not necessarily mean that it has to be very, very slow. We walk to the toilet, we walk to the meditation hall. Already, when we walk to the meditation hall, we know that we are taking care of being in the meditation hall the moment that we start walking to the meditation hall. The meditation already starts there. So, what we do is we plant these seeds moment by moment, and then they continue being ripened. From the walking, we go into sitting. In sitting, we enjoy being with the breath. If it is not enjoyable to be with the breath, then we can be with the body. If it's not enjoyable to be with the body, we can be with the space and the energy and the collective energy around you. If that's not enjoyable, then you stand up and you walk outside and practice walking meditation. There's no need to force yourself. If it is enjoyable to meditate with your eyes closed, wonderful. Sometimes it's more enjoyable to have your eyes open. Also good. It's so important to see what is important for you in the moment, because if you're caught in an idea of like, oh, this is what is meditation, and it should be like this, you might actually be losing your freedom. And for that, I have this little fellow with me. Is everybody still awake? Yes? This is my bear. It's called Sloa. And my bear, Sloa, was given to my brother when he was born. So my brother is now 47, I think, or 46? 46. So my bear is 46 years old. Although he still feels very young. I think bears are timeless. So this bear was with me many times. Oh, I so love walking with my bear. At one moment in my life, my mother saw me walking a little bit depressed. And she observed me as I was walking. And she saw, what's wrong? Something is wrong. So she became mindful. She started to investigate. She started to observe. She had curiosity. So she observed me, and at one moment she noticed, wait, why doesn't he have his bear with him? And so she asked me, she said, Bart, where's your bear? And I said, I am now too big for a bear. I am now too big for a bear. And immediately, as mothers have their intuition available, at least my mother, she said, oh, but is your bear old enough to be without you? And I was like, and she gave me a way back to my bear. But I think this was maybe the first time that as a child, as a human being, I remember being caught in a view. I am now too old for my bear. Don't know how I got that view. Maybe from my brother, because he was old enough. I don't know. This view of like, oh, I'm a man, I should not have feelings. Do you have views like that? That you've decided about yourself? And what are the consequences of that? So it's a good one to take with you. What are the views that I'm holding? That now, no. For example, why do we stop playing as adults? Especially in the West. When I came to Vietnam, there were many, they were still playing. They would go to the beach and they would just play games with each other. But very often, we let go of play and joy when we got older. We say, joy? No, that's not for me. I'm serious. I'm a serious practitioner. That view is of a bare nature. Sometimes we need to learn to tolerate again joy and play. you can see in ourselves how we are with our children. What kind of views am I holding that is actually preventing me from truly connecting? And when you see those views, maybe you can allow them to soften up. And actually, it's kind of strange, you know, the story of teddy bears. I looked it up. So the story of the teddy bear is that many years ago, Teddy Roosevelt refused to shoot a bear. At that time, hunting was very normal, and they were out to shoot bears, but they couldn't find any bears, so they brought out the bear that they had abused, and they were like, "Okay, shoot the bear." And Teddy Roosevelt refused. It was like, "What's the point of this?" It's like, I'm not going to shoot an abused bear. And then in the newspapers came, "Oh, this man, he refuses to shoot the bear." And they made this bear into a very cuddly-looking creature. And they were mocking the president. And then they started selling it as bears. But still, I like this idea. The teddy bear was born out of compassion. Also, I think in that time, people started to realize that treating each other with compassion, and especially children, because we used to be very hard on children, treating them already quite as adults. I know my mother got the instructions from people around that when I was a baby, I had a lot of eczema, and I was really overwhelmed. And so I would cry in the middle of the night because I was in overwhelm. And she would find me like this, crying because it was so itchy. But the common wisdom around was at that time, just make them cry, they're only looking for attention. I mean, that's the advice that our ancestors had. I mean, that was the time. My mom was like, that does not feel right. I refuse that. So I'm very happy with that my mom gave me that love in those moments. Because for me, learning how to regulate my emotions with a parent has taught me how to be and regulate that for myself. So I can act out of wisdom instead of out of reactivity. Or I can learn not to suppress it, but I can learn how to take care of it. And with that, I have been able to train my intuition, take care of the seeds that are in my store consciousness. I think it's very important to learn this kind of kindness and compassion. So the actions of one president so many years ago is now a teddy bear, is now a Dharma talk. Little would he know that that one action would continue on like that. All of our actions are of that nature. They continue on just like the Buddha has continued on. This man lived 2,600 years ago, found the truth, and somehow the ripples of those actions are still continuing, allowing us all to be here. So that is our nature. So it's a deep practice in order to touch that nature in ourselves and continuing and taking care of, so that we can have a beautiful continuation. So, we have some more practices that we do in our monastery. And one of them is, what will you do when you walk around in the Hamlet and you see cups and bowls lying around? Do you think that will happen? With all these children around, with 400 people in the Hamlet, do you think that there are going to be cups and bowls lying everywhere? Who thinks that there won't be any cups and bowls lying around? Oh, in the back, some are very positive, okay. Oh, no, there's Teen Kai, he's mocking me. Okay. A bowl, a cup. Now, there's a meeting taking place. Your eye is seeing a cup. A perception might arise. This is a cup. And it is missing an owner. Where is that owner? What were their intentions? Are they not responsible? Blah and blah and blah and blah. That's one way of looking at the cup. Don't you see, Plum Village is a place where collectively we should take care of these things, and now you have these people who only think of themselves. Oh my God. I mean, we can recognize maybe our ancestors in that. Does anybody have an ancestor like that? A mother, a father, a grandmother, a grandfather who would offer a judgment like that? Anybody? Yeah? So you can say, hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. Hello, grandmother, grandfather, teacher. Being proper is very important for you. I offer you another practice, which is, are you now part of Plum Village this week? Or are you only a guest coming by? What I find beautiful about Plum Village is that we are saying, like, Plum Village is something that we are creating collectively. Plum Village is not made by the monastics and the friends living in Plum Village. I mean, we are only the stewards. We are only the caretakers of this place, the caretakers of the Dharma. But it is when we come together as a community that the Sangha manifests. So we are Plum Village. You are Plum Village. So whose cup is that? Everybody's cup. So, hello, my cup. Our cup. And then you can see, do I have the capacity in that moment to take care of that cup? And maybe not, because you go somewhere. But maybe you have the capacity to take the cup and bring it to the wash-up station. And maybe that's your capacity on that moment. And you can leave the cup over there. It's one step closer. Or maybe even you can wash the cup. And you can enjoy the water and the washing. feeling like, oh, I'm now taking care of Plum Village. Another choice. I mean, the same cup, two different realities. The only difference is your view. So which view do you want to cultivate in your life? So that's why we also ask you to practice service meditation together, because we cannot do it without you. Can you imagine the price of Plum Village if we would all have hired staff, cleaning toilets for us, chopping the vegetables, being in the kitchen? Would be much more expensive in order to be in Plum Village. And what we are doing here is we're making a reality of this. We have a shared responsibility for the earth. We have a shared responsibility in our houses, in our jobs. We have a shared responsibility in Plum Village. So we give you the chance to cultivate that shared responsibility by working together in service meditation. So also in there, it's the enjoyment of doing it. Yet, we have 400 people, 440 people I think we're cooking for. 440 people, if you give them 100 grams of vegetables, that is 44 kilo of vegetables. If you chop a vegetable in this speed, then 44 kilos of vegetables will not be chopped. So how can we chop and be aware of the consequences of our actions as well? The same as if you're in the line of the salad and there's a cutting board. You can very mindfully cut the tomato, and that's very enjoyable to cut the tomato. But the 10 people, and then the 15 people, and then the 20 people, and then the 25 people who are now all waiting in line, that's you too. Mindfulness doesn't only end in your personal body and experience. Mindfulness is also the impact of your actions on the people around you. So please be aware with that when you're serving, when you are chopping, when you're cooking. There's a lot of things happening. So does it now mean that everybody needs to rush while filling your food? It's all the balance. So, then we can listen to one more sound of the bell. So at times we will be enjoying silence, which will start after the big temple bell will be invited. And you are kindly asked to help the children to also start to calm down so that we can prepare for a new day. The silence is a silence that is not oppressive, but it is a silence that allows us to process and to prepare for the new day. So that silence will be all the way until the next day, until after we wash up for breakfast. So breakfast we can serve and we can sit anywhere we want. And then after wash up we can talk again. When we serve breakfast, some days when we go to the other hamlets, we will also serve lunch at that time. So I hope all of you brought your boxes with you, or I believe there's also boxes available for selling if you didn't. And then for lunch, we will either have, today we will have lunch in the Dharma family, the little group where you will have a sharing with and where you will work together with. And either the lunches will be sitting anywhere you want. We sometimes call that picnic lunch. And that will happen when we are in the different hamlets after the walking meditation. Then, after the walking meditation, we often have the total relaxation, the lying down meditation, and then we go after that to our Dharma families for a sharing. And then dinner is usually also in families. So eating, again, beautiful chance. For me, it's kind of a weird experience when I really think about it, that the carrot I eat will become the blood feeding my heart, that my very heartbeats are made of the food that I eat. The very hair in my body, the cells in my body, they're all made from the food I eat. And I have a choice to see how that food is produced, what effect it has had in order for this food to be produced. And how now this food has a chance to continue in my actions of body, speech, and mind. So how can I really honor the food to give it a beautiful continuation? That the food has a chance to become the hugs that we give our children. So if we see the food like that, it becomes a spiritual thing. It's so much more than just a material thing that you consume in order not to be hungry. And then the eating itself can become the enjoyment. And we have these devices. I don't know, do you have one? I think the iPhone has only been introduced like 11 years ago? No, like 20 years ago? I don't know. But it has had a major impact in our society. I've spoken with the inventors of the iPhone, and they regret the impact of it. They try to make a new product that could replace the iPhone. People really did not like it because they want the convenience of the iPhone or any other smartphone. But this also has an effect, this little device. So what we ask you is, maybe you can take it a break, give it a break. I mean, the teens have to give them up. A week without phone. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to go to Plum Village. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. It's like, well, okay. I don't know if you had discussions like that with your teen when they heard that they could not use. I see some. In the end of the week, they all like it because it allows them to connect. You see that I see that often now in the news, where the schools have decided no more phones in the schools. How it really helped with concentration and especially social connection. So let's hope that we can give these a break. And when you use them, please use them somewhere where it is not public, like in the parking lot or somewhere. So also any conversations you have on the phone is kind of at places where you don't disturb others. I think that will be wonderful. Wonderful for yourself and also a wonderful way to contribute to the energy in Plum Village. Okay. So, thank you for being here. You've made it. All of the cells in your body have made it. And welcome to all of the new ones who have just been born in your body. And goodbye to the ones that have died in your body. I hope that the experience of Plum Village can become part of you, and that it can continue on in your life and in your work. I hope that the practices that we offer here can really make you feel enjoyable and comforting. I hope that the walking will be nourishing, the sitting will be nourishing, the being together can be nourishing. I hope that you can recognize your views that may be the very obstacle of you stopping investigating what is happening in the present moment. That maybe is stopping you from touching happiness and joy. So there's so much to discover. It's very exciting for me to continue exploring. So I hope it will be a wonderful exploration together. So thank you for listening.